Hi, I'm Rebecca, one of the researchers working on the equity study, and today I'm joined by Dr. Judith Gellatly, who is the Programme Manager of Equity based at the University of Manchester. So thank you for joining me today, Judith, and I thought it would be nice to hear about your role on the project. So I guess the first question is, what does a typical day as Programme Manager look like on equity for you?
So that's quite an interesting question. I'm not really sure that there is a sort of typical day, or at least very few days sort of turn out the way I think that I'd planned them. The main aim of my role is to make sure on a day-to-day basis that things are running to plan and to time. And if anything isn't, then I sort of need to do some firefighting to get things back on track. And I'm always thinking about what the next study might be that we're going to be conducting, or any of the next challenges that we might face, so that we're prepared and the chance of problems arising is reduced, or at least they're anticipated.
That sounds like a really interesting role on what sounds like a very busy project. So I imagine there's always a lot happening and a lot to do. So I guess that leads me into the next question. Who do you work with on equity?
So I guess one of the things I love about the role of programme manager is that you get to work with lots and lots of different people who work in a variety of different roles. And that's sort of like from members of the research grant team, which includes academics, people with clinical experience, individuals working in the third sector organisations, and obviously the researchers who are employed across all of our different academic sites. Also serve as leads and managers and practitioners who work in our NHS research sites. And I'm also quite fortunate to work with and be supported by individuals working on research who work in research governance and finance within the University of Manchester and in many mental health trusts. And I think importantly, we also have the support of our lived experience advisory panel and steering committee, who provide valuable guidance from an independent perspective for the programme. And I've sort of realised this now sounds like an Oscar speech, so I'm hoping that I haven't forgotten anybody on that
list. It sounds like quite the team that you're working with there.
Yes.
I guess as research projects go on for a number of years as well, you probably get to know the team quite well.
Very well, yes.
So the next question is, have you had to overcome any challenges in your role as programme manager on equity? Because I know there's been quite a lot going on this past year. So is there anything that that stands out that you have had to overcome?
So I think I mentioned sort of part of my role, there are sort of daily and recurring challenges that you're faced with. And most of them, I guess, can be quite relatively small and managed without too much difficulty. I guess over the last sort of year or so, I'd have to say that the biggest challenge, as it has been for many people, has been the COVID pandemic and lockdown. And much of our research had to be paused. But I think we sort of took quite a positive stance from that. And rather than sort of twiddle our thumbs, as the equity programme's focus is on enhancing the delivery of telephone psychological therapy, we were being able to spend some of our time responding to requests from practitioners who reported needing training to support their shift from face-to-face work to telephone working. And I think also the pandemic made us realise things like ways to communicate a bit better. I know that we all are kind of a bit fed up of Zoom just now, but I think it's really helped us to engage with as a research team across different sites, where we would tend not to have sort of face-to-face, in a sense, meetings. We'd often do telephone calls. So I think that's made us a much more collaborative team. And I think that's also opened up the opportunity, well, COVID has, to sort of discuss well-being within our meetings as well, which I think we sort of didn't really acknowledge much before. So I think when or if we go back to normal, we'll continue to work like that as a team.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like something positive to take away from this period.
Definitely.
And I guess in relation to your role, what skills would you say are needed to successfully undertake the role of programme manager on a big research project like this?
I guess being quite organised and efficient and approachable are quite vital parts of the job. I'm not sure how well I do all of those all the time, but hopefully sometimes I do them quite well. But I think one of the most sort of important attributes that you can have as a program manager is to be empathic and sort of understand the experiences and needs of others, and ensure that everybody feels that they're supported in the work that they're doing, and that the work that they're doing is essential and that they have a role within the project. And I think this has been even more imperative sort of since the COVID pandemic, that's caused a shift towards sort of more home or remote working.
Yeah, I agree. That's really important and a really good skill to have as well. So thank you for joining me today, Judith, and just to giving us an insight into your role as Programme Manager on the Equity Programme. So it was lovely to talk to you.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.